Um, Lionel said, "Dolly, is that you?" That's an exaggeration, but then he kind of clarified. He's like, the way that you tell a story, the way that Dolly tells a story is like how you tell a story vocally. That I related to. Totally agree. I love the way dynamically she sang, and it really did feel like Dolly Parton in the way that she told a story with her voice. And a beautiful song. Madea. Girl, and I like this. I am hesitant to talk about Madea, and here's why. I don't think her audition was very good. The judges were very high on her, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, hopefully I'm wrong. I think the general public didn't like it as much as the judges did. And she came in so confident and maybe could be taken as very cocky, that when someone comes in cocky and then performs in a way that you don't think is very good, and then the judges were like, "Oh my gosh, you're awesome," and then you leave perceivably cocky, the knee-jerk reaction is to cut that person down because they need to be put down a peg. No one needs to be put down a peg. That's not what we're trying to do. So I want to be, and I have to stop myself from that. And I recognize that tendency. So let me just be very fair. I thought Madea they talked about a cake analogy, frosting and cake. I agreed with Katie that there is a good cake base there, but her audition, when she sang what she chose to sing, for her American Idol audition, I thought it was pure frosting. Like off-brand Kroger sugary frosting. And that's all I got. Now, if she's getting jobs in New York doing Broadway, whether it's on Broadway or Broadway touring shows, I know she's good. And we heard her voice. She's got a good voice. But you have to have more than a good voice. You have to know how to sing with that good voice. So it's like if you have this great sports car, but you run it into the wall every time you put your foot on the gas, you're not good for a race. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So when she sang Happy Birthday, it was much better, but she's still doing too much, in my opinion. Luke said something in the show, like a lot of people have these habits and no one's told them, like, hey, stop that, and that's all they need. I think that's what she needs. I think she just needs to be coached. Hey, stop that. The switching voices and the growls and the dancing. And again, honestly, at the very end of the day, it's subjective. It's art. She can do whatever she wants to do. I'm sure people would have told Nicki Minaj to not do the weird voice thing, but it's what made her who she is. So at the end of the day, do you? My personal opinion and critique is I was not a fan of anything I heard except some of her tone on Happy Birthday, but it was still too much in my opinion. One thing that's really cool about American Idol is you get to hear these pop songs that you've heard a million times, whether it's I Kissed a Girl or Adele or others. You get to hear these songs in a different way maybe than you've ever heard them. Just piano and vocal, and all this emotion can be added, all that stuff. American Idol gives that platform to singers. And it gave that platform to me when I was on. And I've continued to do that stuff because I love it. I love it a lot. One of the most recent covers that I did and actually released, What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish. I've got a cello in there. And it's one of my favorite things I've ever done. No, I don't know how I feel. CJ. But I'll stay in my own lane. CJ, what was the bus called? Jazz... Oh, dang it. Jazz bus? No, Jazz Wagon. the jazz wagon. I like that. What a great story, too. The dude wanted it, put $5 in a pickle jar when he's 14. 3 years later, he had enough money and bought a bus. And has been renovating it, and I'm into it. A nomad in the purest sense. I thought it was a fun audition. I think that's about it. I thought his song was cool. I think he's an average singer. I think he's an above average piano player. And I think it was a cool story. He's very likable. I think that's about all we're going to get from him. When it gets to Hollywood Week and you've got hundreds of singers that are all monsters and they all have cool stories, I think he's going to be one that unfortunately gets lost in the mix. Kyra. I thought Kyra had some great moments, like really special, spectacular moments. I thought for a lot of the song, especially toward the end, she was right on the edge of potential disaster. And the disaster that I speak of is cracking. Not like you heard some cracking, but it was kind of cool. I mean like bad cracking. And I speak from experience. It happens when you push a little bit and then you push a little more and then you get emotional and you go a little more and all that comes out is a squeak. Like you're going through puberty all over again. Man, those still happened to me. And I was nervous because I really felt she was right on the edge. But she pulled through. I'm worried though, in Hollywood Week, trying that in Hollywood Week when you're maybe a little sleep deprived, maybe a little dehydrated from the long plane, almost said plane ride. I don't know if that's going to be the same outcome. So we'll see how that goes. Will Mosley. But I wish I could. Guitar was a little out of tune. B string was a little flat. But if a string is going to be out of tune, it's always the B string. I don't know why. It just always is. He's got experience. Lionel was like, I want to give every contestant all the time that I can. All the time. Everyone deserves it. I don't want to miss anybody. The biggest spin I've ever heard. Because then he goes into, he's like, I got to go. Do we have 5 minutes? Okay, I'll just sit. And then he goes and he hears him for 5 seconds. He's like, all right, we're good. Shakes their hands and then interrupts his audition. I can tell he doesn't want to. But he's like, yes. And then leaves. And it's like, what about all, like, I want to give the contestant all the time they deserve. Just a clear, like, hey, this happened. Lionel, remember that thing that happened? We need like a 15-second clip of you talking about this thing to make it make sense. Does that make sense? Great. Can you give it to us? Awesome. Thank you. That's exactly what happened. About Will, personally, I thought it was fine. I wasn't as high on him as the judges were. Honestly, I wasn't high on anyone in this episode like I have been for others in previous episodes. I really liked Nick. And that's about it. I like Layla too. But to be honest, this episode didn't have all the goods that the other episodes have had, especially last episode. Last episode was really strong. I keep talking about the live stream watch parties. That's something that's just for Groove Crew members. And we watch the American Idol episode together. I live stream it while I watch it. I live stream me while I watch it. And then we talk during the commercials. That's for Groove Crew members. If you want to be a Groove Crew member, it's only $5 per month. You can hit the join button below this video. It just says join. Should be really clear. For member shoutouts, last week, Thomas Franklin Photo let me know that I missed him. So Thomas Franklin Photo, thank you for being a member. We also have got Peggy Perry, Stephen Melendez, Hippopotamus Boston, Alejandro, Lisa, Susan, Randallin, M space VR, Ost M, Helena Michelle, Sage Scorpion. That's awesome. Penny Cower, Backroad Betty. That sounds like I don't want to get in a fight with her. Chloe Gisklar, Michael Givens, and Mikey Fresh. Thank you guys for being brand new members. Mikey, you were just in time for the the watch party. I remember you in there. So welcome. Welcome to the crew, everyone. Best way to watch these. The best way to experience these videos is live at the premiere. Now, this time I made it a little tough for you because we had to push it back 30 minutes. I've got something at the college, actually, that I had to be at. It's a Q&A thing that I had to attend. But in the future, it will always be 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, the day after an American Idol episode. Speaking of which, we will not have an American Idol episode next week because it's the Oscars, which means I have so many movies to watch. So I will see you guys the following week. If you're watching this as a premiere, go ahead and click the live stream. It's a live Q&A. That's why you should watch premiere, because right after the premiere, I do a live stream Q&A where we talk about whatever you want to talk about with Super Chats. So if you want to ask me a direct question, this is your opportunity to it. Click the live stream link that I'm sending right now. Okay? I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Love you. Bye.